This is a video that I've actually been wanting to do for a while. However, for numerous reasons, I've never actually been able to push myself to do this, not knowing how to cover this person successfully, as well as not treading on things that have already been covered so thoroughly. Today's subject is another person I have technically covered on this channel before, and is someone I actually mentioned in a recent video of mine in the Daniel Wakeford video, where I mentioned doing part of a stream covering the subject of this video, Curtis Uncle Adams. In order to cover Uncle Adams in the way that I think is best, one part of this video will cover who he is and what he has done, and the other part will cover the so-called Uncleverse that surrounds Unc. We start off in a place where we learn about Uncle Adam's iconic nickname, with him essentially having it all of his life, with him being an uncle ever since he was born, with his nephew being born 10 days before him, with this becoming his nickname at school, something he snazzed up with a K and adding his last name Adams to make up his stage name. However, when he was 14 in around 2001, something happened which changed the course of his life forever. His sister's boyfriend lent him an Ice Cube CD. A CD that he loved so much that it convinced him to become a rapper. Although not just any rapper, he would become a battle rapper, going to places all over Canada to battle other rappers. You can find one of these battle raps in a rap I can't name or play due to my Lord Susan, but here's a picture of the title, I suppose. Unc wouldn't just battle rap, he would also rap about other things, mainly those of a crass nature, with raps consisting of subjects as grape in a song called Booze Tune, beats by Melando by the way, as well as collaborating with Melando on a song called It's Warcraft, something that I legitimately thought was just a joke on Unc's Genius page, although it's something very real about World of Warcraft, of course. Here's a brief clip.
It's Warcraft, you won't survive my wrath. I polymorph and I pyroblast. It's Warcraft, you can't match your skill. Hard-headed, cold-blooded, slash and kill. It's Warcraft.
However, during this time, as he was a battle rapper, he said some very explicit words. Very scary. As a battle rapper, he would, well, battle other rappers, putting people down, as well as being put down himself, which made him move away from rapping as an early adult, as he became disenfranchised with how negative the whole thing was regarding the language and behaviour of the scene. Upon leaving the rap game, he got a job as a heavy equipment operator, where he was able to save up his money and buy himself a house at quite a young age. Successful, eh? Sometime around the age of 26, Uncle Adams was at a party where he broke his foot whilst drunk, leaving him bedridden, and this made him realise that he needed to change, with him beginning to go to the gym, broken foot and all. Because of the very weird stuff he brought up with this, I'll let him speak for himself.
I began exercising regularly, eating properly, listening to motivational recordings, and I continued to fill my mind with positivity, inspiration, and motivation. As a result of the changes that I made in my life, I literally became a different person. A person who saw the world differently. I began to experience life living in a higher state of consciousness.
This ascension to a higher plane of consciousness let's say it made him humbly revisit his beginnings as a rapper, although this time moving away from the offensiveness of his times as a battle rapper. This would be through rebranding himself as a quote, motivational rapper, speaker, role model, and counterbully. But of course, this didn't happen overnight. Unk would have to make music in order to do this and move away from his past, which he would do through the song I Am Stronger, the first of many inspirational songs. This allowed him to be quite successful, gaining a lot of coverage on radio stations, as well as doing many performances in schools, where he would try to make the students aware of many of the issues that teenagers have, such as bullying, as well as motivating people to do better. Things were going quite well for Uncle Adams, having quite a nice bit of recognition, and was praised for his songs that were essentially PSAs. However, something that Unk is quite insistent on is never becoming stagnant, so he slightly changed up his formula, instead moving away from these types of rap and just doing his own thing. During this time, we'd get Unk's iconic hairstyle that he would show off in his 2015 album cover, Pulse. This haircut would also feature in one of Unk's most famous videos, 2016's Original. However, this video would take a long time before it really blew up, seemingly a standard video for Unk's channel. But almost a year after it was uploaded, Anthony Fantano, aka The Needle Drop, and Chris Raygun would collaborate and make a video on Uncle Adam's Original. So, considering the type of content on my channel, and the fact that some of you know about Uncle Adams, you should be able to guess that the original music video is, well, a little strange. As I mentioned earlier, the hairstyle features in it, which is honestly something that a child would do, and he wears strange costumes throughout, like a child would do. So it's clear to say that Original, and well, actually all of Unk's music videos, are a bit silly to say the least. Now, the thing about uploading videos of this kind onto the internet, which is a very, very public forum, is that people will ridicule them, and that is exactly what happened in the Needle Drops video on Uncle, describing it off the bat as saying that he knew there would be heaps of cringe, as well as many other disparaging comments mocking Unk.
An odd observation, but he looks like the Penguin from the series Gotham.
Yes.
For some reason. He
does
looks like all the Penguins.
He does kind of look like all the Penguins. I brought up to you that he looked like Adam West's Penguin. Earlier. And he does kind of look like that other Penguin too. He does look like a Batman supervillain. Like he doesn't look like he looks like a surly character. Although his face is really too goofy to completely pull it off.
Yeah. He looks very non-threatening.
Whoever did this hair, man, they just...
It is a work of
art, if you could say that. There's definitely a... if anybody wants to screenshot this, there's definitely a barbershop meme in here. The barber's like, what do you want? And then it says, me. Just fuck me up, fam. And that's, there's a meme in there with that.
Like he says, oh yeah, let me get my my mother's last heartbeat on the side of my head. It's symbolic. Mm-hmm. Very loving. He clearly cares about his family.
Mm.
Original is a really significant part of the Uncle Adam story, breeding Unk's hatred for Anthony Fantano, as well as gaining trolls who went by Original posting. However, we'll get onto both of these in more detail later on. In late 2017, he decided to fully focus on being a rapper, going all in on the venture, quitting his job and dedicating himself to rap, and dubbing this his at least $1 million mission, where he would aim to get at least $1 million, and then adding on to this goal with at least 1 million monthly Spotify listeners. He would begin to document this mission through a song called At Least a Million, and a video series also called the At Least a Million Mission. A very creative name that definitely won't be confusing to those who know nothing of Uncle Adams. In the first part of his video series, he would reveal that he's $164,000 in debt and that he has sold his house in order to be able to finance his At Least a Million mission. However, this had no effect on Unc's morale, and was confident that the series would probably only need roughly 10 parts until he had succeeded in his goal. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Before I continue on with this video, I just want to briefly talk about how poor Uncle Adams is with money, with him constantly buying Tim Hortons, which isn't even a joke by the way, as well as buying studio time when he could instead use his own equipment, which would be a lot cheaper and would be more beneficial for him despite a small drop in quality. Also, take note of the mirror to the left that says, "You are looking at the one." It won't come up again, I just thought it was funny. Through these first few episodes of this series, Unc maxes out credit cards to get some quick spendable cash, has good vibes.
Sounds good. Levels are good. Vibes are good. Feeling good. It's all good.
Sells his car, shows the creation of the At Least a Million music video, and shows off his At Least a Million visors and cool kangaroos.
The At Least a Million visors, man. Oh, jeez. My thing was not set right. There, now I got it. At Least a Million visors. I'm bringing visors back, man. And then here we go. Some kicks for tomorrow. Got a ball on a budget, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. It was buy one pair, get one half off at Payless. These are cool, man. These are called kangaroos. Look at those. I like those, man.
Just a quick aside, he also has light up shoes, with these appearing in a music video of his in I Am Uncle Adams. So his footwear isn't always the best. In episode 8 of his At Least a Million Mission video series, Unc talks more about possibly committing credit fraud by flipping more items, and talks about how he was likely scammed out of thousands of dollars, with him just thinking that this is bad luck. However, I don't have any confirmation of this. The largest part of this video was Unc revealing that through his mission to get at least $1 million, he was now further in debt, being $207,000 in debt at this point in early 2018. However, in episode 10, he finally responds to the original posting trolls as well as the needle drop.
As you've noticed, you can't comment on my YouTube anymore, you can't comment on my Instagram, my Twitter profile is private, I've changed my emails, and I want to tell you why, okay? So for over a year, there has been a group of trolls trolling all of my accounts, pretending to be fans, but really they have sinister intent, okay? And I let this go on for way too long. When it first started happening, I thought, they'll just die off. I mean, nobody has that much hate in them, do they? But these people obviously did, because they kept going and going and going and going over a year. So they pretend to be fans, but they're really enemies. They would go to my store and comment on my hoodie. Oh, this is so hot that it keeps me cold. So they're just all about ironic things, and they think it's hilarious to do this, okay? But it's gone way too far. This group that pretends to be fans, but are actually trolls, got this YouTuber to review one of my videos. They kept messaging him, review Uncle Adams, review Uncle Adams. Okay, now this guy's name is Anthony something. Okay, the Needle Drop. I call him the Needle. And my other friend watched his video too. He's like, "Who's this Needle guy?" So everybody apparently just calls him the Needle because he just changed a few letters in his name. Plus, it seems like he has a small. He just sits there behind a screen dissing everybody all the time. He's got videos where he talks trash about like every artist and musician, like pretty much ever.
In this video, he tries to make a bet to Anthony Fantano that he will delete his channel if Unk finishes his at least 1 million mission. Fantano obviously didn't take this bet, but even if he had, he wouldn't be in much trouble even 4 years later. Uncle Adams would soon apologise in the very next part, wanting to get in contact with Fantano and respectfully talking to him and regretting calling him the Needle Dick, which actually happened with the two of them squashing their beef in a video on Fantano's channel where they mainly talk about trolling, although it isn't really that interesting, so I'm not going to show it. Not much would happen with the rest of the at least 1 million mission video series, although Uncle talked about getting 2 jobs and then quitting both of them on the very same days he was hired. So he took a step in the right direction and then messed it up almost instantly. However, more important things that were talked about in these later episodes were him essentially milking Original for all he could get from it, selling 300 limited edition original vinyls, and creating the sequel, Original 2, as well as trying to motivate people to support him for a music video for it, which doesn't sound too original to me, but sure. The most important thing he did during these videos though, was attempting to sell the top hat he wore in the original music video, with him listing it for $10,000, which he revealed in episode 14. By episode 20, the top hat still hadn't been sold. Obviously, nobody's going to buy a top hat for that amount of money for the meme, so Unk, in his unlimited generosity, decided to give it away instead. This would normally be the end with this sort of thing, but not at all in this case, as it started an all-out war. The hat had gone to somebody by the name of Colby Ferrin, aka Colby the Ferret, who released a diss track on Uncle called Emperor Penguin wearing the hat, which, as you should be able to guess from a diss track, berated Unk and highlighted Original posting, his debts, and just general memes that had evolved around Unk at this time. Unk didn't respond to this too well, with him responding with his own diss track called The Exterminator, where he makes it abundantly clear that the only thing he thinks about him is that he's just some guy who won a hat. Unk would also respond to him in his at least 1 million series by stating that he was a stan and that he's essentially nothing worthwhile. This video in particular is a really bad showing of Unk's ego and self-importance, with many people seeing a lot of Unk's criticisms towards Colby as some that could be turned back on him.
He needs to stop acting like he's more than a guy that just won a hat in a contest, because that's all that he is. But he has felt like he's such an important, integral part of the story, and you know, he wears the hat and he makes videos and he talks about me constantly, and it's obvious what he's trying to do. He's trying to latch himself onto my name, because the only time anyone cares about this guy is when he talks about me. That's sad. That's a sad reality. Kobe, if you're watching this, think about that, man. Nobody gives a shit about you unless you are talking about me. You're everything about your, I can't say career, it's not a career, your rap, your very small rap presence is thanks to me. You should be thanking me. And the fact that I'm making this video, you should be thanking me. Look how many different ways you are trying to attach your pathetic rap career to mine. And it's not working because people just realize that you're a desperate loser, and also you're going to get obliterated. You're stepping into the ring with somebody who is just so far above your skill level that it's like a novice trying to fight Conor McGregor or something, man. When it comes to battling, it is. And you think that I won't respond, right? You think that, oh, he couldn't possibly diss me back because if he did, then that would make him look bad. So it's a good spot for me to be in. I have all the support from these haters that have latched on to me, and I'll diss him. And he won't diss me back because he can't. You know, his arms are tied behind it, blah, 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 whatever you think, man. And I will obliterate your soul.
The last At Least a Million mission was sadly uploaded on the 30th of December 2019. So, it seems like this series is now dead, with Unk never actually succeeding in his goal. At least not yet. But it's not all bad, to be fair. Whilst he never reached $1 million with his music, he has knocked down his debt quite a bit, as according to his Twitter, he was at one point over $250,000 in debt, with his now being only $80,000 in debt. Which, of course, is still a huge bit, but he's come a long way, to be fair. Sadly, since the end of this series, there hasn't been much worthwhile from Unk himself, with him mainly making reaction videos and tutorial videos. However, I'll talk about some brief highlights. Unk and Dorian Electra were about to release a song called Gentleman Remix, which was huge for Unk. However, due to face swaps with black rappers on Twitter, he was called racist, leading to Dorian cutting ties with him, deleting the music video they had done together, as well as unfollowing him on Twitter. Unk would proceed to unfollow him back, and then ghost from social media. More recently, Unk has made some NFTs, and has listed them on Rareable, with a couple of his original characters, as well as some of his Uncleverse characters, such as Cletus and Dark Unk. However, if you thought the $10,000 top hat was ridiculous, you're about to be even more surprised, with an NFT currently being listed at 164,000 Ethereum, which is currently $216 million at the time of writing this script, so it's just a bit out of most people's range. Speaking of racism and Uncle Adams, Unk made a video where he talked about how racism wasn't his fault for some reason. I cannot find as to why he did this, and he has since deleted this video, although it has been archived, which is a little bit suspicious that he would delete it, I guess. But no, he probably just deleted it because it wasn't actually relevant to anything, and nor do sane people actually think that Uncle Adams is legitimately racist. So here we move out to the second part of this video, a part which isn't based in fact, like at all, and it's just a way for me to talk about stupid things done by people who watch and troll Uncle Adams, which makes me laugh because my brain is absolute pudding. The majority of the things I'll be talking about in this little section is stuff from the Uncleverse wiki, which Uncle himself has absolutely no part in, which you'll see very soon. But we'll start off on the article of the main man himself, Uncle Adams, which goes through his history until one day he, quote, drain a bottle of bleach and go to sleep permanently. However, the chemicals in the bleach metastasized with his body, improving his rap game and giving him the powers of originality trademark, which would allow Adams to create his own clones. Also in this article is that he will visit men's wives and will begin planting seeds and further spreading this originality trademark. Now, if you think this is stupid and extremely acoustic, yeah, you're right, it really is. But it's not without precedent. Well, kind of, but of course it's a huge stretch. But first, we'll start off with the strongest clone of all, Mr. Trapezoids. So, with a name like that, you would have thought that this is a complete troll creation. Well, nope. Unk created it.
Yeah, you want to get big trapezoids like me? Then here's what you gotta do. Gotta eat your oats. Oats for days, oats for weeks. So now, right now, I want you to just look at my traps. Just look right at them. Look at them. See how they move like that? Look at those. Alright, look at these. Look at my traps in a shirt. Look how nice they are and how developed they are. I'm gonna win the competition today. Gotta go get some more protein. Traps are getting too small.
Mr. Trapezoids is a staunch ally of Uncle Adam's, spreading his words of healthy eating, as well as being a shapeshifter, which aids him in being a powerful fighter. Another important clone of Unk's, well, clone of a clone anyway, is Cletus, another creation of Uncle Adam's.
My name is Cletus and I am the best rap man in the whole dang land. You don't understand me, better check my flow 1, 2, twice by my tapes. Mixtape, just wait, I don't ever hesitate. Better buy my tapes when they come out next week. Got 5 albums on my way.
Cletus, unlike Mr. Trapezoids, has no allegiance, although it may be seen as a rival of Unk's, as seen in the clip, as he's a rapper, and according to him, does very well. For some reason in the Uncleverse, however, Cletus is in the KKK, which I guess makes sense for a stupid troll wiki. Dark Unk is technically another creation of Unk's, with him featuring in the music video for Problems, as well as now featuring as one of the Unk NFTs. Goblin Unk is the final clone I will discuss, and this time it isn't actually one that comes from Uncle Adams himself, and instead comes from a story on his Snapchat that featured his girlfriend Hannah's cooking, which was just a mug of water and peas, featuring Tim Hortons yet again. This, along with the picture of Goblin Unk, which I really love, is really all there is to say about this clone. The only real lore, in very heavy quotation marks, is the Great Saskatchewan Skirmish, which was between the good Unks and bad Unks, with of course Uncle Adams and the good clones winning. Now, let me be clear again, this Uncleverse lore is absolutely nothing, and essentially has nothing to do with Uncle directly, and isn't even updated anymore because it's really stupid, which is probably why it tickles me so much and makes me have a little chuckle. Other troll creations are easily found on YouTube, with many stupid creations being made, normally remixes of Uncle's songs, with them pretty much all being awful, which I hope is the point of them, with them being stupid. Let's move away from the stupid stuff and get back onto the main point of this video and begin wrapping it up. Uncle Adams is someone who I've had a large interest in for a long time now, and it's pretty clear why. Uncle Adams is straight up delusional, and his ego surpasses him, which makes many of his hijinks funny, as you'll see him continuously fail, but Unc remains firm in his decisions, making no regrets and doing it over and over again. However, Unc has come to his senses a bit. It seems as though he's got a job and is now only $80,000 in debt, which is a much better place to be in than he was a couple years ago. And whilst he hasn't reached either of his goals for his at least a million mission, he's still notable and seems as though he enjoys what he does when he's able to, being extremely goofy throughout. Now, I do honestly like